Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored.
All right, day 2 of the holiday special.
Christmas is coming.
It's coming. Jingle bells.
Can't stop it. Batman smells.
Santa Claus is coming to town. I hope you joined us for episode 1, where we talked about chicken.
Chicken.
And then today, we are switching gears entirely.
We started out with chicken. It's very simple.
Yep.
Very easy to play.
Yep.
Not that these games we're talking about today, yes, I said these games aren't simple. It's just on the other end of the spectrum. It is a more traditional board gaming experience.
Yes. So we want to make sure we provide gift ideas for all sorts of people in your life. And, take it or leave it. If you don't have someone in your life that would enjoy this, that's fine.
That's okay. Find one, though. Ask
yeah.
for that for Christmas.
Ask for a friend that would like this game for Christmas. All right, we're going to be talking about 2 games because they're kind of like wrapped up together in their own little package.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Search For games. So the first one was released in 2020. It was the Search for Planet X.
Yep.
And then in 2023, this year, right?
Yeah, it was this year.
The Search for Lost Species.
That's right.
So
what makes these games so good, Ange? Why don't you jump in?
All right, so let me just explain what they are. I think I can just explain what one of them is, and then just know that it's kind of the same. It's the same thing and the same mechanic. You're just adapting it. One's in space with planets, and one's in terrain with
Perfect.
species.
On Earth.
Yes. Okay, so I'll do the Planet X since that's the one I've played the most. Players are going to take on the role of astronomers who are going to use
Galileo.
Ooh, some Queen reference. Some logical deductions to try to find where Planet X is. So the game comes with built-in logical rules.
Yes.
But then as you go through the game, you decide what you want to do on your turn, and that will give you more information that the other players either might not have right at that moment or might not ever have, depending on what they do. And you're going to write it in your little observation paper, and you're going to try to find out where Planet X is. In the Lost Species, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to try to find out where the Lost Species is.
Yeah.
And I like that. So everything, there is a board, and there is a player notepad, I guess, that you would call it. But then there's also the app that comes with it.
Yeah, so both of these games do run on an app, and I know that's kind of... Some people love it, some people don't. But in order to make it a little bit secretive, and there's so much logic that could go on...
Right.
that the app does help a lot.
Right. So, and I think it's a little bit different than other app-driven games that we've talked about, at least, like Mansions of Madness, Lord of the Rings, Journeys Through Middle-earth. I think that this one it's basically just holding all the puzzle pieces for you.
Yeah.
It's holding all the secrets. So instead of having this ginormous book where it's like flip to 55 point...
And read entry 7.
Yeah. This is just so much easier.
Yeah,
and
it gets a clue to you and only you.
Correct.
Because everyone who's playing can have the app on their phone and sync up to the same game and know that what clue I'm getting, the app is feeding me based on what I wanted to search for. Angela is not seeing that.
Yes.
So I have different information than she does, and that's what the app helps facilitate.
Right. And I guess I should have started with this can be played 1 through 4. So I really like that this is solo. The majority of the times I have played this game have been solo because it is deduction. So it's kind of like, if you do crosswords or if you like Sudoku, but you want a step up, this is a logic puzzle. I used to give my students logic puzzles when I taught high school math. And this just reminds me of it so much in board game form. So I would say you're probably going to need teenagers or like 13 plus in
Yeah.
order to play this. This is probably not like for the young kids. I would say even teenagers might struggle with understanding or getting used to the logic puzzle piece of it.
Yeah, and when we say logic, it's for example, let's give them an example.
Okay.
So like for the planet one, Planet X is, in history that was Pluto. We're trying to figure out where it was or what it was. I don't even know if it's a planet anymore. Whatever.
It's a dwarf planet.
It's still number 9 in my heart. And so they'll say Planet X is not next to an asteroid. And then so you like when you find asteroids, you know that, well, Planet X isn't next to one of these.
Right.
And then it might say, what are some of the other things that show up there? Meteor.
Dwarf planets,
Yeah.
meteors,
Black holes. There are, or Planet X is within 4 spaces of this meteor shower or whatever, stuff like that. So that's the kind of logic that we're looking for. And same with the lost species. The cool thing about lost species is that there are multiple things, different things to search for. So in Planet X, you're only looking for the planet, and the planet always has the same rules.
Right.
It just is depending on what the game is. It's in a different. The map is like a pizza, and so it depends on what pizza slice is in. Pizza slice of space, and then in the Lost Planet, there's different animals which have different rules. So if you're looking for the lizard might not be next to a snake, and the bird is next to 3 snake. Like, I think you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So that's what the app does so beautifully is it adjusts that every single time. So I mean, have I done the math behind it? No, but I believe every experience is unique because the app generates where the species is or where the planet is. I wouldn't say it's too complex to teach. I would just say you would need someone that is old enough, A, and B, is interested in logic puzzles.
Yeah, or not drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk on the nog. Drunk on the nog at Christmas.
Cannot be drunk with this one. You will. Well, you might fail miserably.
Yep.
It's also.
I do that sober in this game.
Congratulations. It's also much longer than Chicken that we talked about. It is probably like an hour or so.
Yeah, I'd say hour 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Depends on how many people you have and, how quickly that process goes. I definitely play in less than an hour when it's solo, but then that is different because I'm not waiting on anyone.
Yeah.
And in the 4-player, 2-player, and 3-player, you're racing each other to figure out where the lost species is or where the Planet X is before everyone else. But in the solo, you're racing a bot. So you're trying to not only solve the puzzle, but to solve it quicker than the bot does.
Okay. And how much success did you have doing that?
I can tell when I haven't played it in a while because I'll just lose repeatedly until I get used to it again. But what I like about this game is that both of these games offer a standard mode and then a challenging mode.
Yeah.
So you can flip the board. In the Planet one, it jumps the number of sectors. So I think it's 12 to 16 or something like that. The Species one, same thing. It's going to jump the number of, I think they're hexagonal tiles.
Yeah, it's like they're different islands that you navigate around or through.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can also adjust the difficulty for how many clues you're given at the start of the game.
Yeah, in the app, I could play at a little bit easier difficulty. And
Whoa, excuse you. He was so excited.
Yeah, so I could just say that I want to know a little bit more starting information to make it a little easier for me than Angela, who might want one bit of starting information. We haven't really played that way, but if you're introducing new people, why not just give them a little bit more information so that they know just that much more to get a head start and maybe keep up.
Yeah. And for solo, I don't know if it's still worded this way, but at least with the search for Planet X, you could you record your data so that they can make the game better. So that it actually sends it to the company.
No.
And they, because they're always looking to make the bot, more either better, like better in the sense that maybe needs to be easier, or maybe it needs to just adjust its difficulty in some way.
Yeah.
So you you can just send it off through the app.
Oh, cool.
It's nice.
Yeah. So why would we want to give this gift this year?
Okay. Well, what do we love about it? I think I love that you can play it at solo. I love that it's deduction.
Yeah, it's a unique game experience. I don't think we have anything like it other than these two games. They are very similar. I would say you probably don't need both.
We have both.
We have both. But even having both, I'm like, well, I don't know if we really need one or the other.
Right.
I don't think I have a favorite. They both have their own fun little things. It's fun. It's neat that they are both based in a little bit of like real world history.
Yeah.
Like
especially the species one. If you read on BGG, it kind of explains the idea behind that.
Yeah, it's like
title.
conservation, trying to find close to extinct species and stuff like that.
Well, and I think that I don't know that you love this game so much, but you're also not like a sit down and do a crossword or a Sudoku or a logic puzzle online or whatever, or chess.
I like the idea of them. Like when I start playing these games, I'm like, oh yes, I got it. Like this is so cool. Like, oh, there's a snake next to the coat, and then I'm like, but then I mess up and it's like, oh, well, now I'm just screwed.
Right.
Because I thought that based on the rules that it could be here, but then I realized, 20 minutes later, it's like, wait, no. And then I'm like, okay, well, done.
It's like an elevated Clue almost, where you're like, okay, well, I'm down to this many weapons left. So if it could be this or this, so you're kind of keeping track of things on your sheet and recording things like that. I think that I don't love that it's not like family and kid friendly, but honestly, there's going to be moments probably in your life and in the holidays where either just you need to unwind or maybe you need to have a little bit of time kid free.
Yeah.
Whether that's time away from nephews, nieces, cousins, whatever, children of your own. And that this provides like a mellow experience while at the same time like working out your brain.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to, when you're full of high energy activity around the holidays, to kind of chill out with this kind of activity.
Yeah.
I think we talked about, well, do you have anything about who is it for? Or
no, if you know anybody who likes those kind of logic-y things, like you mentioned, the crosswords, the wordles, all that stuff, and they are just kind of into board games and they don't have this would be right up their alley.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people get it and how much does it cost?
So the Search for Planet X has been out for a couple years, like we mentioned. You should be able to find it at your local game store. It's always just hit and miss. It's not like a super, super popular game.
I saw it at ours.
Yeah. It might not be what I'm trying to say is it might not be readily available at yours.
I'm sure they could order.
But they're out there, yes. So both, and then Lost Species is newer. We've seen it at our game store as well. Yep. But they are both published by Renegade Games, and you can get them on their website today even. Lost Species is $45, and I believe Search for Planet X is about the same as well. Yeah, $45. And they also have an upgraded version of components for Planet X. And I do not believe they have the same for Lost Species yet. But maybe someday for all those people who love the upgrades.
They are both on Amazon as well.
Okay.
But I've never seen these games on the Walmart or Target shelf.
No, they're not that yet.
Right.
Maybe someday.
I mean, maybe Barnes & Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Our local Barnes & Noble has... I'm assuming it's the same across the United States.
Yeah.
That has
inventory might be different.
Heavily gotten into games.
Yeah.
So it's definitely likely to be there, but I would say it's never going to be at Target or Walmart.
No.
Yeah. So if this sounds like a game for you or someone you know, keep it in mind. we like it a lot.
Yeah,
And
that's
it fits a little niche part of our like gaming pie.
Menagerie.
Diversity in
Yeah.
our gaming.
Yeah, I was going to just ask, like, do you have one that you prefer? But I don't think we can really answer that yet because the amount of times we've played Planet X versus Lost Species is so far weighted towards Planet X that
Yeah.
we don't.
It's
We
just
haven't
been
really.
around longer.
Yeah, we haven't really unlocked maybe some of the fun mechanics that the Lost Species has.
Right.
So they're both very, very similar. I wouldn't worry about getting one or the other. They are both equally difficult or equally easy, depending on how big your brain is.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. Do you have a Christmas question for me to
Yes.
end
So
this
yesterday
episode with?
you asked me what my favorite treat was.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Christmas treat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I said cookies and you said cookies as well.
We said different types of cookies.
But I don't have like a direct question, but I do have, I want you to explain something to our audience.
I have a feeling you're dragging up something.
No, it's not. It's just a unique thing for your family that I obviously found out when we were dating.
Oh, I know what this is.
So Christmas time, I spent a couple Christmases with you and your family. I grew up in Arizona. You lived in Minnesota, and so I flew up to Minnesota a couple times. And on Christmas Eve, you guys have a really unique tradition of what?
We go to Red Lobster.
Like out to eat on Christmas Eve. When I found that out, was like blowing my mind.
Right.
I mean, I know people do it. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of because there are other people at the restaurant when we're there.
Lots of people.
It's just very different for me, not for you, obviously. So tell everybody like why that is, why Red Lobster, what's up?
Well, if people aren't familiar with Red Lobster, it's just like a chain seafood restaurant. And I think so. My half brothers are 14 and 15 years older than me, and it started when they were young. And my mom wanted to get them out of the house because they would want to just open the presents.
They were just present crazy.
We have a tradition, and so do you actually, of opening presents on Christmas Eve,
Yeah, I think that's a Scandinavian thing.
and then Santa comes Christmas morning.
Christmas night. Yeah.
Yeah, night, morning, whatever. So the boys, my brothers, would want to open the gifts and like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? And so it was like, let's get them out of the house. So they went to a restaurant. I don't know why Red Lobster specifically.
That was going to be my next question. It might be one of the few that are open.
Yeah, that could be, especially since this is 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So it could have been that. But I just always grew up. I mean, I can't think of a Christmas Eve where I didn't go to Red Lobster until I was married to you.
Until we moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even when we go back with our kids now at Christmas, we'll go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the same. So did it start with just like your family that you know of and then it like expanded to like your aunt and uncle and cousins? Or was it always everybody?
Right,
Or like,
so,
did it
like-
slowly grow?
So my mom's side of the family lived about a 3-hour drive from where we live, but my dad's side lived, 20 minutes away. So they would, his sister, my aunt, and her children and their kids, when they were old enough, would come and meet us there.
Okay.
And so it just became like, this big thing where, and it didn't feel like you wanted to like dine and dash. You just wanted to like hang out. And then I think as I got older, I realized like my dad would give a good tip, like.
Yeah, he'd realize that people are working and
Right.
Yeah.
But, I don't notice that when I was a kid.
No.
But as a teenager and then into college, when I would come back, I would notice that stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah. And I actually think one year, I don't remember, I think we had kids, but we were in Arizona and we did it here.
We did it maybe not on Christmas Eve, but like 1 or 2 days before, I
Yeah.
think. I think we should go sometime in December just to celebrate
We
that
gotta.
tradition.
So we would love to hear if you have any fun, I don't know, weird, quirky. Maybe you didn't realize they were quirky
Until
traditions.
you joined another family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some people have the same meal every Christmas. In Arizona, it's like Mexican food is very popular to have on Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not something people do everywhere, obviously. So
Right.
what do you guys do Christmas that's unique to your guys' family.
Let
We'd
us
love
know.
to we'd love to hear from you, and we hope Search for Planet X and Search for Lost Species gave you some ideas. Maybe somebody that you know might love those games.
Yes, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow for another holiday special. Game what is
Whoa.
game gifting
I
guy?
don't know what you're doing.
I'm saying let me back up.